Dr. Baker, I like your channel a lot. I don't watch every video because I worry you'll say something good about Jesus, and it always annoys me when I hear intelligent people speaking good of such a horrible character, especially one who has been used by the rich aristocracy to get the better of us commoners ever since Constantine the Great supposedly converted to Christianity. I did quite enjoy your video entitled Types of Atheists, Psychology of Atheism Part 1. I'm glad you didn't have to encounter me when you asked people whether they believe in God. You might have had to endure a rant, something like this. Among the Abrahamic faiths, the concept of God is perhaps the ultimate symbol of the hubris of believers. Why do they accept Abraham's God identifying itself as the supreme being of all things? What gives them the idea that they would recognize the supreme being, or anything supernatural for that matter? And why are their standards so low? I can't blame Abraham for being moved by a burning bush all alone in the Mesopotamian wilderness, but anyone who met Jesus personally, especially his closest disciples, especially after his totally pointless final days on earth, should have at least had some doubts. Although I'm sure very few non-Christians and even fewer Christians remember the New Testament book just after the Gospels, the Acts of the Apostles, where Jesus loafs about with his disciples for nearly 6 weeks after his resurrection, all the while never thinking to select a replacement for Judas, forcing his men to cast lots and pray to him to indicate his will after he had gone. And how did Jesus depart? He floated up into the sky and disappeared behind a cloud. I'm not impressed with this mode of departure, nor this level of personnel management. Perhaps this entity knows that there is logically no way it or any other entity could prove that it is the supreme being. At best, it could convince us that it has the ability to manipulate our senses and our equipment at will. While this is perhaps a cool, if rude, trick, it doesn't prove anything about the nature of this entity. It could simply be a biological organism just like us, but with better tech, and there's absolutely no way we could know, simply due to the nature of human knowing. I could advise Christians to be more skeptical about this God, but barring that, the world would be much improved if they would just be a bit more humble. To believe that something greater than ourselves must of necessity be the greatest possible being is to think far too highly of ourselves.